She's a controversial character, there's no denying that, but she's also one of my favourites. So this week, let's dig into some facts related to perhaps the most powerful Hinasaki of all, Miyu. 1. Being that Fatal Frame 5 takes place in 2006 and Miyu is 17 in that game, this means she was born in 1989. We also know this because she was born shortly after the events of Fatal Frame 3, which took place in 1988. We don't know her exact birth date, but it's likely she was born sometime in the summer. 2. And yes, let's just get it out of the way right away. Miyu is the daughter of Hinasaki Miku and Mafuyu. No, nobody likes it, but it is what it is. Had things gone differently, she would have been Kei's daughter instead, but ultimately, Shibata didn't feel that storyline was working for him, and so she ended up being Mafuyu's. 3. Because Mafuyu was a ghost when Miyu was conceived, this makes Miyu the first Shadowborn we play as in the series. In Japanese, these children that are born of the union of a living person and a dead spirit are called Yomiko, which uses the characters for night and spring. These children are considered especially powerful because of their, well, spiritual blood. 4. However, the act of giving birth to a Shadowborn has a terrible effect on their mother. It greatly reduces their own lifespan. Miku is no exception to this, and only 2 years after Miyu's birth, she can sense her time is coming to an end, and thus, she treks to Mount Hikami after learning of the ghost marriage ritual there. 5. After Miku left, Miyu was raised by Iyama Sachi, a woman we never meet, but who was friends with Miku. Sachi is also acquainted with Kurosawa Hisoka, the cousin of Rei, who Miku used to live with, so presumably the circle of those with supernatural abilities and experiences up there is rather tight-knit. After Miyu also went missing, Sachi contacted Hisoka for a second time to get her assistance in finding her too. 6. Fatal Frame 5 is the first game to give us official heights, and Miyu is listed as 155 centimeters tall. This makes her the shortest of the main characters in the game. 7. Miyu's first name uses the same Mi character from her mother's name, Miku, meaning to grow late or something beautiful, and the character for feathers or wings. This combination is pretty much only used here, and if you search for it online, Fatal Frame's Miyu is about the only thing that shows up. 8. Miyu is voiced by Uchida Maya, who, funnily enough, is the same age and height as Miyu. She has worked pretty consistently since 2010 or so, but perhaps of note to viewers here would be her work on Corpse Party, Final Fantasy XIV, and Akiba's Trip, amongst many others. Miyu's English voice actor, at least right now, remains unknown. 9. Being a Shadowborn, Miyu was born with an innate ability to glance, or read people's hearts, one of the key features of the 5th game. While Yuri develops this ability after her close brush with death, Miyu, being technically half dead anyway, is born knowing how to do it while not even really knowing what it is. She can just see what people feel and think, and this leads to her becoming incredibly insular and avoiding people as much as she can. 10. This ability leads to the character we see when we first start playing Fatal Frame 5. Someone who seems incredibly cold and unfazed by anything. After all, she has spent her entire life seeing people's real feelings and how they constantly lie to hide them. She doesn't trust anyone, but at the same time, because she knows what people want, she can easily do what is necessary to please them. 11. It's for this reason that Miyu decides to become an actress. She can basically slide into any role because that's what she's been doing her entire life. And although it's mostly removed from the English version of the game, we see Miyu moving up in the entertainment world by starting with gravure work, which is basically bikini modeling in this case. 12. Miyu is the first character we play as in Fatal Frame 5, as she appears in the game's prologue to teach us some of the basics of the game. She finds herself on Mount Hikami looking for her mother, but instead runs into Ulse and finds herself trapped in a box of black water. 13. We don't see Miyu again until the 6th drop, when Yuri finally frees her. After that, we get to play as Miyu again in the 9th drop, 11th drop, and the final drop. During this time, Miyu uses Yuri's camera obscura, but she has a special skill that Yuri doesn't have. She's able to slow ghosts down. This is a power unique to her as a Shadowborn, and potentially inspired by Miku's ability to do the same in Fatal Frame 3 by using a sacred stone. 14. Shortly after Yuri brings Miyu back to Kurosawa Antiques, she glances Miyu and sees her memories and feelings of self-hatred and lack of feeling towards anything. However, Miyu, being a more powerful Shadowborn, is able to quickly turn the tables and glances Yuri instead, seeing Yuri's pain and longing for death. It's this, Shibata tells us, that moves Miyu for the first time, potentially ever, as she sees intense parallels to her mother and her desire to go to the other side as well. This is why, despite being so angry at Yuri initially, Miyu goes out of her way to constantly help her and drag her back. She doesn't want to be left alone again. 15. Similarly, this is why Miyu and Yuri are on the Japanese cover of the game, facing each other like yin and yang. Again, according to Shibata, the game was supposed to be about this pairing in particular, and their deep connections to both life and death. Although, he joked, he ended up sympathizing with Ren more in the end. 16. On that note, Miyu was the final character to be added to the game. Ren was first, followed by Yuri, and then after that, they debated having Ayane or Miku be the third and final protagonist. But they felt that Miku's story had already ended, and Ayane ended up getting her own campaign, so Miyu was created instead. According to Kikuchi, at first, even he didn't know who Miyu's father was, as Shibata kept that to himself for a while. 17. Physically, Miyu was based on a ghost Shibata claimed to have an actual experience with. According to him, he got home late one night in 2005 and saw a girl of about 15 or so sitting on a bookcase in his room. She had long black hair and looked incredibly fed up, and when she looked at him, she said, "You found me." And then she told him to die more slowly. Then she disappeared. Initially, this frightened him, but because it came at a time when he was feeling incredibly depressed, he came to realize that she probably meant he should stop rushing towards death and enjoy life more. That feeling of having this girl glance into his soul played a part in Shiragiku's creation, while physically, she helped inspire Miyu's looks. 18. Miyu has two endings. If you don't photograph Miku at the Twilight Peak, you get the Shadowborn ending, where mother and daughter have one final talk at the Lake of the Departed before Miku moves on, leaving Miyu alone. If you do take a photo of her, you get the Waking Up to Dreams ending, where this time Miku agrees not to leave her, and they head back to Kurosawa Antiques together. However, it's still not a full happy ending, as both know that Miku's time is close anyway. but this way they have at least a little more time together. 19. In the original version of Fatal Frame 5, Miyu has 3 unlockable costumes. You can get the white kimono by seeing the Shadowborn ending, and the Gravure Bikini, Japan only, and Zelda costume, international only, by seeing all the endings bar Ren's Cherry Blossom ending. In the remaster, however, she has 8 costumes. Only the white kimono remains from the original version, but this time around, you can get a yellow swimsuit, pink swimsuit, a cutesy goth ensemble, Mayu's outfit from Fatal Frame 2, 2 Miku outfits from Fatal Frame 1, the Japanese and international versions, and Miku's Fatal Frame 3 outfit as well. 20. The opening scene of Miyu with her hair floating in the water was inspired by the opening scene of Solaris. Neat. 21. And finally, Miyu's image color, like her father, is white. Initially, the devs hoped to create a system where the character's hair would have their image color mixed in when wet. This meant trying to mix white into Miyu's jet black hair, but overall the system was too hard to make look good for everyone, so it was scrapped. And that is 21 facts about Hinasaki Miyu, one of the more powerful and unique characters in the series. But what did you guys think of this one? Are there any other characters or games you'd like me to explore? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you again next time.